What's up, you guys? Another Foo-ology podcast. I'm here with the homie Eddie.
We're back.
We're back again, and we have a special guest in the building.
Special guest. He goes by Issa. I think he reached out to me a few weeks ago, and he was interested in sharing about his indigenous reconnecting. And you say you're fresh out of high school, right?
Yeah.
Issa.
Yeah.
And you're
high school out of Ann Arbor.
Oh, in Michigan. So he joined us all the way from Michigan, and I think what he was telling me was really interesting. But so I wanted to bring him on here just to hear his perspective and just to get a little bit more in depth with different type of views that people have. Because you're telling me something. Actually, we'll get into that right now. But before that, what's like a little bit about your upbringing, bro, and your background?
All right. So put it simply so that all of you guys can understand, I'm half Honduran from my mom, specifically the city of Comayagua, but her grandmothers and grandparents came from the pueblo of Copan. If you ever know about the Copan ruins, the Mayan ruins, they have descent from there, in that area. Actually, Chorti dialect is the closest to classical Maya, out of the...
Yeah. And that's what they speak over there?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's the closest out of any Maya dialects to the classical scribes you see on the pyramids and whatnot.
That's interesting. And how'd you end up in Michigan? What's that story like, bro?
So my mom and dad met. So my great grandmother and her family moved from Copan to Comayagua, and she married a man there. I'm not too sure on his ethnicity. I think he's Maya as well, or Lenca. I know he's an Indio for sure. And she had around 5 kids. That'd be 3 brothers. 2 of them died, only 1 uncle. And then it would be my grandmother and my aunt, and they had kids. My grandmother married a man from Brazil. He's also an Indio. He's an adopted, I think, Indio from Brazil. He doesn't know his heritage because, you know how back in the day in Latin America and the US, they would take Indian kids, adopt them into random families. He doesn't know his tribe, unfortunately. I do know he's an Indio for sure. And so...
makes sense.
And they married, and then they would have 3 kids. Would be my mother, she firstborn, and then Daniel, secondborn. Actually, you want to know something? When I was born, he actually had another kid with his wife. So
you got a lot of kids going on right now.
So my uncle is a year older than me.
Oh damn!
They didn't expect that. I don't know how to. You know how in Mexico the shit happens.
I get you.
That's funny.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so you're half Honduran or a quarter Honduran, basically.
No,
half Honduran.
I'm just saying the national, but my ethnic background. I'm straight Indio throughout my mom. That's all
I get you. And that is how'd you get to learning about all that? At what point in your life did you start reconnecting? Because
I was virtually blind for most of my life. I was self-hating. I didn't like how I looked. Because you know how I look for most halfway people, I look pretty dark. No eyebrows, bro. I look closer to fucking Martin than anything.
It makes sense. That makes sense.
And so throughout all my life, I'd feel alienated because the white side I grew up in was the most American as you can be, WASP. I went to Protestant churches. I went to church camp. I had done everything they did, all the American patriotism stuff. And throughout all my life, I was always disconnected because my dad, he didn't want me ever knowing even Spanish. He didn't want me knowing Chorti. He didn't want me anything. Because when he met my mom, I guess he met through military. He's a military man. He was sent there in Comayagua around the Guatemalan Civil War. You heard about that, where they had all those rebels. Entire country of Honduras is low-key a state where they squashed any rebellion in Mexico and Guatemala. So that's his side. He was always... I don't even know how he met my mom. Honestly, how they got along. I don't, because you see all these interracial relationships and these white men who are racist. I never understood that. What do you guys think?
Interesting.
That's true. And they're over here marrying Hispanic women,
they marry
Asian women.
I know in LA they marry some Filipinas.
Yeah, for sure. That's what they do.
Yeah, I think that's the number
They go
one.
to Thailand, Cambodia, all that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Man, I know, like, especially in Philippines, they have a huge issue with trafficking. You know about Peter Scully?
Yeah, yeah. He
He's
did
like worse than Epstein, arguably, and he's like not even known. He's like he makes Epstein
shit.
look like a cupcake.
Yeah, for people who don't know who that
Wow.
is, Peter Scully, I got into it too, looking into the Epstein stuff, and I'm sure
True
Epstein's just
crime
as
is the
bad.
true crime shit. Like you get it?
Yeah, Epstein's probably just as bad, but that dude, Peter Scully, he would do fucking what is it, child abuse videos, snuff films in the
Yeah, snuff
Philippines.
films.
So
Mom.
he would have like toddlers tied up, and the girl, he would get a girl to like burn them or like torture them, and some of them actually died and shit. And
That's so fucked up,
so
man.
this guy is real life, and he actually got caught by some international police force from Netherlands or some
Cut,
shit. He got
cut.
caught. Yeah, he got caught
He's
or
like,
some shit. But I'm sure there's still like a whole network of these guys out there, bro.
And don't tell me he's a millionaire, billionaire.
oh, he
I
is.
don't
Yeah,
even
of
know what he
course.
is. I don't even know too much
Yeah,
about it. But
I'm
I've
sure.
come across that story before, and it just
Shit.
goes to show all the how deep this all goes. And I think it ties into the indigenous erasure. It ties into the secret societies. It ties into all this shit. Because once you go deep into all this, you realize like they're very intentional with what they're doing with all this kind of division and all
Yeah.
this rhetoric that they're putting out.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got all the, they got the resources to, do whatever the hell they want. They're like, I'll get away with it. Money rules the world, and I just pay the
Exactly.
lawyers, and they
Yeah.
got people that work in the court system, bro. All that shit. They have all the connects, so they're gonna be good.
That's a fact.
So that's like, man, that's a horrible ass shit, bro. Like,
But you know
man,
what was interesting about what you're saying, Issa, is that we just tapped in with another guy yesterday who was also he's from Texas originally.
yeah, Texas.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Tejano.
Tejano. Shout out to the homie Dominic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a banger of an episode. But he was saying similar things. Actually, his background is he went to a Catholic school. And he was the only, I guess you could say, dark Mexican. But to me, you guys aren't dark. To me, you guys are both like
No.
just
You
fair
see,
skin brown.
Kiwawi, man, that man's dark as shit.
Yeah, he's a little darker, but you guys are dark too.
Yeah.
You guys
Mom,
look like clear.
Yeah, you guys are.
yeah,
look
my
like,
mom's as
yeah.
dark as Martin.
But you guys were saying Mar's just a tan,
Yeah, I'm like a
tan guy,
pretty.
bro.
Yeah,
but
so, nah, yeah.
it's like the same thing. I get you. I get what you mean. But he was saying the same thing. He was like, he went to a Catholic school and he felt the most different, like out of everybody, and he felt like that self-hatred or racism. And
Yeah.
so I just want to know, like, at what point did that like bottle up for you, like that self value, I guess you could say. Like, how
I
did that
remember,
manifest?
so I remember in church, the priest, the pastor, whatever you want to call it, he was talking about the Good Samaritan, right? And the
Yeah.
thing is, like, without the story in the Good Samaritan, it's like, I think it's like three options. They ask, like, the man is like, who would you rather choose? Is like the man who has all this wealth, money, and whatnot, the man who walks past you. I think you know about the story, anyways. And they ask, like, which man would you choose to be as the most, like, trustworthy and whatnot? I mean, and I remember, like, all these old ladies, they would just look at me and it's like, they would, like, hand out, like, fucking nickels. And, like,
Mm.
and it was like they're all do you know what's funny is on my dad's side, the white side, they actually built the church that they're on. And the documents
Oh.
show they displaced the Ojibwe, the Anishinaabe people that live there. You know that. And so I just realized like my dad's family is like how they got that. Because in the city of so Midland, I can use a map because Michigan. So right around here, that's where Midland, Saginaw is. Right here is Chippewa Reserve. And so I remember my early history, my dad's side, they go as far back as the Pilgrims, yeah, on the
Mm.
Mayflower.
Oh
So you can
shit.
research into that. Search up Eastman last name. It goes back. There's wealthy people I'm related to in New York, but I don't have any ties to them, to be honest. Uh,
Mm.
and that's just
Yeah.
how I see it. But anyways, they initially had they were like a two group of Eastmans. There's a man and a woman. They're both like, or I guess early stage Marxists or communists. I don't have any like antagonism. I don't support communism, but that's how they were. And so they took that plot of land away from indigenous family to support communism, which I thought was a little bit ironic. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm.
I'm curious how you guys view on that because I know there's a lot of people who say that a lot of modern political science is based on universalism, humanitarianism, which is the idea that we're all one and the same spiritually, whether it be biologically or whatnot. I can actually go into the depths that DNA, how it's proven doesn't exist how it is. I can make a whole fucking video on that.
Mm, yeah, and that's what we're gonna get into because you sent me some stuff about the red man and all this kind of stuff. That's the original point where you sent me a few articles and I read through them. But your idea behind that was that the term brown versus red, right? If you
Yeah.
could explain that a little bit more.
Oof.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
Brown comes from like the early, I guess, Frankfurt School and all that, like the race scientists, because a lot of people don't like to getting into it. You know how if you go back far enough with all this race stuff, it ties into early like anthropology with how they would classify different skulls and
Hmm.
whatnot. And
Mm.
so what I found like interesting was that a lot of like these colored coded names were initially some of them people would suggest that they try to argue that we originate from the Israelites. They make other arguments that we're Tartarians. I don't know if you heard of any
Mm,
about this shit.
I heard
It's
Tartaria, but I don't get into all
yeah,
that.
from Atlantis. I don't want to get too much into that because like
Do
some
you
of that's it.
do you buy into that a little bit or no?
I'll give you this much. I think we originated on this continent, not
Oh,
Siberia.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't buy the Siberia stuff either that much.
Yeah, I can check out if you want anyone watching this, Vine Deloria Jr. Red Earth White Lies. They go into that where they mention debunking of the mammoth hunters. It's not
Okay,
possible.
that's on YouTube.
That's it's a book, but I'll
Oh,
get
okay,
you. I'll pirate you a free link. Don't worry.
all right.
I don't believe in the selling of knowledge. That's my principle.
Hey, there you go, there you go.
Nice.
But yeah, so you're saying so it goes back to the brown versus red, and it goes back to that race, the Frankfurt School or something like that.
Yeah, the sexologist, race, all that intersectionality. You have to really understand that. Because if you go into the comments a lot on different pages, you hear about stuff like such as social Marxism, cultural Marxism. It gets
Okay.
like really convoluted and all that. But everyone initially believed in the 19th century that race was a concept or race realism. I want to know what you guys think of that. Like your lived experience. Do you think it's bullshit? Do you think it's tied
Mm,
in anything? Do you think that humans are as different as dogs or coyotes? Or I
Ooh.
want to know what
that's
you
a
guys
good
think.
question.
Yeah, that's a
That's
really
a
good
good question.
question.
Actually, we never thought about. I never really took too much attention into like the actual concept of race. I feel like people, if you're around different types of people, they're naturally going to be like, "Oh, you're different than me," and that kind of creates this little vibe and these little groups, and they team up together. I think that's like natural human, almost like pack mentality, like herd
Yeah.
mentality. I feel like that might always have
Yeah,
been the
troops of
case.
monkeys, troops of chimps and shit.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
Yeah.
think that
troop.
might have always been the case, but the concept of race and all that, maybe it comes from that. But
Yeah,
that's
like
a good question.
like yeah, that's a good question. But that for me, it's like because we grew up in California and it's like diversity everywhere, bro. So it's like
Yeah.
I have like black friends, Asian friends, white friends, everybody. And to me, I never judge anybody by the skin of the color, bro. I just judge them with their personality, bro. If they're fucking
Yeah.
assholes, then you're not
Yeah.
part of my group. Basically, I don't care if you're
Uh,
like if you're the same race, like Mexican. I don't I won't kick it with you anymore. But I that's how I look at it. Like people
Yeah.
are you gotta be open, bro. You can't be closed. But
Yeah, and
yeah,
I agree with that. I think that it's not to get too much into group or tribal, like tribe mindset, because
you
that
all
could
know the
suffocate you. You know?
worst? You want to know why American Indians lost? Why we're in this position?
Oh,
Not
okay, go ahead.
technology, not numbers, tribalism. I can list any instance of wars
ooh,
against the colonizers. Tlaxcalans,
They went.
Crows,
They went against them. They went against the red
Haudenosaunee,
people.
ooh,
Haudenosaunee. I'd mentioned three.
ooh.
Two of the ones are most hated: Crows and Tlaxcalans.
But yeah,
I can keep
Damn.
listening. The Choctaws believe that if they didn't go to the war against the United States and they go to war against the Muskoka Creek and the Chickasaw, that they would get their lands more than other people. Guess
so
what? Choctaw were so exposed to fucking Oklahoma. They're dumbass.
Damn.
so
That's
to
crazy.
simplify it for the people listening, you're basically saying it's for in terms of the word, right? It would be red on red violence. right?
Yeah. Because like when
Red,
you
like
think
red
about it,
on
like
red, brown on
you
brown.
always hear about the shit of
Mm,
like how apparently it was technological superiority or that it was disease, which I think the minds had more to do with it than the biological diseases, me personally. Because you've seen the old codexes of what they did to our people in the mines. So much extraction. Like you see the old codex, he's a Spaniard holding up a picture of our men. And to that, I was like, this fucking pathetic that the Tlaxcalans were so arrogant. The issue I have is tribal exceptionalism. They believe that their tribe
Mm,
is so important as that. I don't like that because it turns us into Jews. You know how Jews are?
ooh,
I don't
yeah.
like that. Because with the tribal exceptionalism, their people have their own origin story, their own beliefs, and that it becomes their own race, really. And
yeah,
Yeah.
they stop
exactly
caring
right.
about it. That's why you see all these like Cherokees are like damn near white. They don't experience our lived experience, and they say I claim matrilineal descent, even though it's like, at what point do I distinguish you from you and a Jew? It's like in your mindset.
Oh, I
Shit.
think we've been saying that too.
Yeah.
And
I
you
think we
know the
kind of said
tribal
that shit too.
governments, man, per cap, they have all those programs. Even though I remember Russell Means mentions a lot of that gets funneled through embezzlement and other means on Pine Ridge
Yeah,
to the white population.
that's what I'm
So
saying too. Because like I don't know too much. Like I honestly, we just go on the general information. But I know that there's back in the day, the tribes that got like uh better treatment were so-called civilized tribes, right?
the five civilized tribes,
Yes, but I'm
Creek,
wondering like how can what makes these people civilized and not? And I'm thinking
because they're
all these
descendants
people
of
that
The Cahokia. You know Cahokia, the civilization, the mound builders.
yeah.
Those are their ancestors.
Mm.
But you know what?
They're,
Yeah, I also have a question. I'm like, you know how everybody was like, divided, like red on red blood, whatever. What started that? Like their ego,
It's
like
the
the groups.
tribalism.
they
That's
didn't
My
what.
see any
tribe is
other
better than yours.
race. There was no other race. That's why they had adoption because
Yeah.
everyone is the same. It's like, I adopt you is no different from, that's why you see all that, which I think they tried to use that with whites because they thought like maybe they have the same mindset as us.
So no,
And
whites
I,
they saw whiteness. Yeah, because
no,
yeah,
they,
a French guy is gonna it sees an English guy different, but then when they come here, they're like, "Oh, we're both white guys, so let's help each other out," type of shit, right?
yeah,
Uh,
And
yeah.
over here, it's like we're both part of it over here, but he's like, "Nope, you're part of this tribe, and I'm part of this. You're not my people." You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But these supposed to be helping each other out, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's true.
The
They
reason why
because
they're
yeah.
five called like the five civilized tribes though is because they sent from Cahokia. Because when I think it was there was a first Spanish expedition into Florida. I think you know about it. And so the Muskoka Creek is a recent thing. It's very, very recent. What I mean by is like when the Spaniards first came to the Mississippi River basin, it was like a jungle, by the way. I don't know if you've seen any photos of like pre-colonial or like early 18th century like manipulation of the rivers. It was like a damn near, you know how the Amazon is? That's how
Mm,
the South was. The Southeast, it was like damn near jungle. They had palm trees everywhere. And
yeah.
so they would come there and you know how there was trade coming in. So this is going to come into some, if you know anything about Mesoamerica, you know how people, I know you know a whole bunch. People say that the Toltecs, they had influence across that whole Mesoamerican area through Texas. And some people say
Yep.
that the Olmecs, Toltecs, whatever came in, they influenced. So those are the five civilized tribes ancestors. It had like the different tribes like Uchis, Yamasis, Tuscaroras, all of them. They were pretty civilized, I'd say. They had agriculture, all that. So what happened was when the Spanish got there, they actually drove them out because they were the similar to how we were. They had cities and whatnot. What happened? What happened? I want to let you know. So I have nothing against matriarchy. I support it. But matriarchy as the system happened after the conflict because entire region was devastated. Entire people died,
Mm,
like 80% died. And so the Muskogee Creek, Cherokee, all them, Chickasaw, they rebanded together and they would like form like small little villages. Like, how are we gonna figure this out now since we had an apocalypse, right? And so they would decide on matrilineal, as in clans. It's very, very recent, the clan system. It's nothing wrong against it.
matrilineal for those people that's like your mother is what gets you. It's
Yeah,
your
women have
lineage through
like
your mom.
say and role as like
Mm,
who you could marry, whatnot. That's why like you see any like American Indian, they'll ask you like what's your tribe, band, clan, what's not, because it's like they use it
Shit.
as a way to, I guess, avoid incest, all that. It
Uh,
depends on different tribes. I know like the
That's interesting.
Shawnee and Osage patrilineal is descent from the men. That's the Kamse people, Shawnee, Shawano.
damn,
So,
bro, you know
Yeah.
a lot of this stuff. It's really interesting. How many tribes are there, bro? Like
Lower
yeah.
48 or
So
Alaska, because Alaska just sorts like inflates the number higher, even though they're all like Inuk there.
uh, Alaska, yeah.
Well, Alaska alone there's like 200, but like lower 48 is like 304,
Damn.
348 or something. I don't know.
That's crazy,
So
bro.
what like going back on the moment, because you're still like what, 19,
18.
18. At what age did you start like really digging into all this?
Oh man, I'd say like, look, it was actually on and off, but I'd say 16.
Damn, that's
16. Okay,
crazy,
so it's been
bro.
a few years.
You're a smart guy to learn all this shit, bro. I'm like, when I was 18, I didn't know.
What was that sparking moment that like switched from that self-hatred to actually like trying to seek deeper knowledge or
It's
information?
actually gonna be sound really, really fucking weird if I describe it,
You
because
could
like,
go, yeah.
Go
because I
ahead.
had to explain a little bit of my life before how I got to there. I don't know, like, because that's why like when you initially with the first question, I could have went off there for a little bit. I'll
Just
go
say
back.
whatever.
I'll go back. So I'll just jump forward to like the early teen years of my life when I got out of juvie.
Uh,
I don't know if I should get into that.
you could
I
get
was,
into whatever. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you could.
because I
Whatever you're
remember,
comfortable with. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever
because
you're comfortable with.
I remember in juvie, I was just one of those kids who wanted to fight. I got beating. I beat some people up. I got beat up. I mean, it is what it is. Win some, lose some.
Yeah,
What
exactly. Yeah, that's what
the?
it is, bro. Yeah.
So
Like,
after
yeah, yeah.
that, because I was living with my dad over in Florida when I was in juvie, and then I had so during that period, I was like isolated online because something I don't hear you guys mention about Gen Z is how isolated we are online with the phones, the different
Mm,
digital communities, Discord, different servers like the Amino app, Reddit, all that. A lot of these older adults I noticed don't know is like these are like young kids forming these communities. They don't realize, and a lot of these kids they have different childhood from you two guys because you guys are like millennials, I'd
yeah.
say.
Yeah.
You guys got to experience outdoors to the like you guys remember when the first
Childhood.
iPhone came out, like flip phones. Like I think you guys still had flip phones back then, right?
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Old ass
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
hell.
All that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
funny.
so when that happened, I got into a lot of so I knew about the looksmaxx black pill shit before it got popular. I
Yeah.
was
Yeah. Yeah.
a big forum user. I think you can find my name on there. I think I deleted it now. I had it before it blew it up. It was
Which forum?
looksmaxx.org. There was a
Oh,
bunch of others.
looksmaxx.org.
There was lookism.net, all that. But my longest account was looksmaxx.org. I think it's still on there. It's Saya_online. I think I
Mm.
deleted it though.
That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
So
But
you
I
could have been the
remember,
next Clav almost if you just
dude,
got.
that guy wasn't on there. He wasn't on the forum. Nobody
You
knew
think this
him.
guy's an agent or a plant?
He's an agent. He
For
wasn't on
sure.
the forum, bro. It's like you got to
Oh,
realize like there's only 2,000 people on the forum ever before it blew up that summer of like
man. So
2023.
he knows. He
Yeah.
knows. You got the
Exactly.
insider scoop, bro.
Sheesh.
Dude,
Yeah, I always knew he was he was astroturf. He's a plant for sure.
he's a plant dude. Cause he has what's it called? It's that Klinefelter syndrome where he got the big hip. You didn't see his photo before went on drugs.
Nah, I didn't see. What is it?
He's
What
got
does that mean?
Klinefelters. That's why he's promoting it. He can't have children, bro.
Oh
He
shit!
Because Klinefelters
Damn.
is like highly estrogenic, like deformity you're born
Oh,
with.
that's wild. Because I know
Oh,
that he's been on like tests since he was like 12, right? Or
Yeah,
some
how are
shit.
you
I
gonna get
remember.
tested at 12 unless you're a millionaire? Just publicly, you have to
Yeah,
so
that's
someone
crazy.
covered it for him. And if you
That's
notice,
crazy.
like he's tall, but like under that frame, he's like,
like
He
yeah.
said that. So he had big hips. I guess you could say, right?
yeah.
Like it's
That's
like
why
a
he's promoting
deformity.
it.
Oh,
And
that's
he
crazy.
could have some involvement. Who knows about these guys? I
Some
mean,
Peter Thiel stuff.
Yeah, because he's
Maybe
what
it's
half
like,
he's half Jewish,
I think
right?
he might be Jewish, bro. I think Clive
yeah,
might be Jewish because I come across some info that his name is actually Petersburg, but you know how they change their names and stuff, right? But I
yeah.
haven't had confirmation, but he's in Israel right now and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, not to cut you off. I mean, I forgot you were saying that you're on the looksmaxx forum and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're having your own communities, and what else were you up to?
Part of the reason I was on Luke's phone was like I was so insecure of how I looked because like growing up, I was always treated as like you're different. And I'm gonna
Mm.
be honest with you. Out and say I've always had this since I was like a 7-year-old man. Like I'm like instinctually, it's I don't say this to sound edgy. I know it's fucked up, like kind of racist a little bit. I wish I wasn't like I. It
I
was like
wish I was.
it was like a
Uh,
safety protective mechanism I had as a little kid. Is like I would just be like extremely hateful, and I guess I know it's like a lot of other kids were like that because I was like kind of a group leader a little bit when I was in like second grade, first grade, and like I got like an ego trip where I would like discriminate against like some Indian kid, and I would say this like out and open. I know it's fucked up, you know?
like Indian, like from India or like native?
Nah, nah, not
Got
fully
Indian. Yeah,
Indian.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I mean. And I guess like I viewed it as like sort of hatred because I'd see my dad, he'd beat her every day for speaking her language. I remember my grandmother and grandfather on my dad's side, we had effigies, right? In Copan, they make like these effigies of like
Okay.
our old I don't want to say the word God, that's not an accurate translation, but
Like a deity type of
yeah.
thing. All right.
And they would just smash it, and they would smash it, smash it. I remember I was like a kid, man, I was like, you're just a good for nothing fucking card sacrificer, you know? Like
Oh
your people
shit.
are just, and it's like, fuck,
Yeah,
man. It's
That's crazy.
but yeah, that is crazy, bro.
That's pretty tough to hear. But
Definitely.
what so you say that you were racist. What does that like? You were just picking on them, basically.
yeah, I wanted to be like white so bad. It's like pathetic. It's like
Oh yeah, like
Mm.
self hatred.
I remember I used to not go out in the sun. Um, just hide and win. It's like,
Damn,
and like
that's
I
wild.
used to like fantasize about different characters and shit. Like, because in my mental image, I didn't imagine myself how I actually looked. You know, it's
Uh,
like it's like so sad because like during the
yeah.
policies of like assimilation, because my grandmother on my mom's side, she got disconnected from her great grandmother. My great grandmother was like, I think a medicine woman, you could call her.
Mm.
And so she was raised to be super Catholic, my grandmother, and hate her own mom. She called her beliefs like witchcraft, all of it nonsense. She's actually like the most devout Catholic I see. It's interesting.
Wow, damn.
Mm.
That's pretty deep. Really deep info that you have and your personal experience.
Yeah, because sometimes that not that you're racist, but I believe this is how like this racism starts. It's like, you're a kid, and then say a black guy or an Asian dude, they pick on you, they pick on you, and then it's like a mental mind
Oh
of
yeah.
something like, oh man, these guys are the ones that are picking on me. They're stealing my shit, and you start like thinking like, man,
They're bad.
they're bad. You're like, I don't want to fuck with that race,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you start thinking like that, maybe because of that experience. I don't
Or
know.
you just have a
Or
bad experience. Like a lot of people just have a one bad experience and they're like, man,
Yeah.
fuck all
oh,
these.
like when you're raised up, your dad tells you like, you know what, don't be messing with these people because
Yeah.
shit like that.
Usually it is passed down in that way for the people who are like that. But yeah, you grow out of it once you just see people as people. But at the same time, I do think that like you had mentioned, especially being a younger guy, you're like it does come from that self-hatred aspect and always feeling like different, right? Because if you're around all white folks and then like you feel obviously different, then there's going to be us. And I think that's what the media also does too in
Hmm.
Hollywood. And that's what they do in Mexico with the caste system. All the actors are white skinned. All the
Yeah,
fucking,
they're not even from Mexico. They're like from Poland and shit. They make them learn Spanish.
yeah, or
Yeah, yeah,
Argentinians. And then,
yeah,
in,
exactly.
even in Hollywood, bro, the way they portray us as, well, we didn't finish your point on the redskin stuff, but, uh, red or brown, whatever word you want to use, as brown skinned people, the way they portray, um,
Yeah.
people like that on media, it's like very singular and it's only like one type of person or like a criminal or something, and it's
Hmm.
like that obviously creates like this internal racism to yourself, and it also upholds white folks more.
Hmm.
It does uphold them, and so that makes sense how you said that you want to be white so bad, and you were honest about it, because a lot of these people are like that, but they're not honest about it. They become
Yeah.
MAGA Republicans. they,
Yeah,
they they become
yeah.
super MAGA, and they become like ass kissers to the system because they just really hate themselves and they want to be accepted into
Dude,
whiteness.
these people are like, they're very dumb because even like from the horse's mouth with the demon Epstein, Epstein says that Trump is nothing more than like a popular kid. You seen that interview with that one guy? Is like he mentioned like these people are just politicians, nothing more. They're not really interesting in the mind. They don't have any beliefs, any
Mm.
inquiries about the world. That came from Epstein's mouth. He straight up said
Yeah,
these
yeah,
people are fucking boring. It's
Yeah.
that's why I don't get like too caught up in the Trump because Trump is like he's like the little bait. Nobody knows who's on the real.
yeah. Who,
It's
who's who's
Damn,
behind the
man.
who's behind the
Exactly.
guy, huh? Who's
Exactly, man.
behind the
mhm,
Who's
guy?
controlling him and stuff?
But that
mhm.
goes back into the, so in terms of, just to ask you about that, the red skin and the thing, because that's the thing you sent me. So do you have this idea that everybody on this continent is the red skinned person, or the red person, the red man,
Yeah, we
and that
originate here.
we originate here, and that is like a
Any
unifying
oral
idea?
traditions, they say we originate here, and archaeological evidence backs it up because they can't find any other supposedly the Clovis culture and whatnot. Because the thing you have to do issue is with carbon dating, they can only measure what they find recently. Like I do flint knapping, right? And so I
Hmm.
can make a spear replicated the exact same as Clovis, and I can leave it out, hide it under for a few days, and the recording will be the same as like a stone in the same area. We nobody knows
Oh,
how old the
okay.
stone is. So you're measuring the time of the stone, not really I guess. And they try to like associate between how old the stone is between the date of the culture. That's how
Mm.
some archaeological work is done. There's a lot of flaws in it. Also, for
Yeah.
instance, like supposedly mammoth hunters, even though no native tradition, oral history mentions us being mammoth hunters, because if you actually hear it, like the Shoshone, the other tribes around the west, they were actually like really terrifying animals. You couldn't kill a mammoth that easily because a lot of people see like these like ground sloths, giant rhinos, man. Like I think people are disconnected from nature because they don't realize like even a horse, man, they fuck you up. They fucking
Yeah, they're
just
huge. A
getting
mammoth, huh?
Yeah.
God damn.
That would be pretty dope to see though. Like big
Yeah,
ass
a
fucking
big ass mammoth falling off a cliff like they have in the movies, right?
the fucking ice age, man. This shit's fire, bro.
Actually,
That's funny
damn.
as hell. But that's pretty dope that you have all this insight. So what, with like people your age, like do you see that there's a big movement? Because I feel like there's like something brewing up of people like reawakening
Depends on niche basis, yeah, but
on a niche
overall, I don't
basis.
think so. I don't, me
Mm.
personally, because I view most people as just being like shouters. They say a lot.
Mm.
I don't want to put any names, but I think what some influencers are doing is a bit waste of time, what they could be actually doing. Because I
Mm.
think there's an old like teaching from the Navajo Nation, like if you reveal your plans too much, like the bad ones are gonna get it. The evil one, they're gonna
Oh,
mess it
okay.
up, you know?
Damn.
And so I see a lot of like these like protesters online. I think some of them are legit. You know who the ones are. They were on here actually. I respect them. But the other ones who they don't really do much because what we're seeing now is like drone technology, more advanced technology of lasers being developed. It's like, come on, guys, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I think most like brown people, I want to call it red, whatever, and Hispanic, they should be getting into the. I'm gonna be straight up and honest. We're on a sinking ship. There's no one's gonna stop like this technological age that we're going through because that's what the people in charge want. And what I want to provide to perspective is a lot of people say, "Oh, you're working within the system. We all need to collectively just stop." Yeah, dude, we
Mm.
can't even fucking unite based off neighborhood. It's like, so I
Damn.
think the
Based
issue
off
with that
neighborhood.
is you
That's
have to
true.
work inside really. And don't really care if any government agent watches this because they know this is just empty words. They play empty words. whatever what they say doesn't make sense. So why should they take us any seriously? That's my word to any FBI agent watching this, bro. Just whatever we
Shout out to
say,
the
man.
FBI
Unless
agent.
we, unless how
Yeah.
you said it, like spell it out on a piece of paper. The fucking spell.
Shout out to the FBI,
Yeah,
CIA agent
yeah,
watching this, the
hell
Mossad
yeah.
agent listening to.
The
We're just
Illuminati, the
saying empty
Illuminati, bro.
words.
That's
We're just
funny as
saying
hell.
empty words,
The
but
Illuminati
It's just
shit.
empty words. But that oh man, that you dropped some bangers for sure, man. 'Cause yeah, we tapped into the homie yesterday, and he was saying
numbers
similar
matter,
things,
bro.
man.
I just
Oh, numbers matter. That dude's chill. You
Yeah.
like him or what? That was pretty
he's
chill, huh?
legit, bro. That's the real deal, bro.
I like him, bro. That dude's one of the coolest guys that we tap in with. He's just a normal, chill ass dude.
Dude, I was telling my stepdad, he's from Mexico. He's big into like the America versus Cruz Azul shit. And I was just telling you,
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I can't, you know how he is. I was like
Yeah.
showing him the Numbers Matters videos. He was like, no way, what? What are you talking about?
what is this talking about?
The soccer, the Mexican soccer
yeah,
league,
they're
bro.
starting
Yeah.
up again. We just talked
Yeah.
to him too. Yeah, yesterday too.
Yesterday,
We doubled up yesterday with the
Yeah.
pod.
We dropped the what? You
Today we
one
dropped it. Today we dropped
Yeah,
a new one.
it's a new
but
one today.
That fool's pretty chill, and you're actually pretty dope. Why don't you have your own like Substack or blog or something, bro?
I'm not really confident in myself, to be honest. Like, I feel like there's like, sometimes there's more eloquent people, how they phrase and parse stuff. I just feel like sometimes I'm more superior than mine. It's like,
Nah,
goddamn.
bro.
you
Yeah.
got it, man.
Yeah, you definitely got it, bro. You're 18 years old. You're like, man,
already deep
you're
in that,
ahead of
yeah.
your age for sure, bro. That's you're a wise guy for sure, man. You should definitely start something. And like we always say on the podcast, you don't really care about how many people are looking in the beginning. Like it could be just one viewer. Anybody could do this shit, bro. You just got to be consistent with it and have a good time. And don't take it too serious, you know?
Yeah,
and then you're definitely
you're passionate about the stuff that you're talking about too, and
yeah.
If you kind of are piecing things together, and I think those are like gifts that people have, and in life you got to share your gifts, because that's probably why you have them. That's probably why you're focused in that direction, because if you express it, if you share that kind of your ideas, somebody's going to come across, and that's going to be valuable to them. And even like what you sent me, I'm like, damn, you're onto something interesting, and that's why we tapped in with you, because I'm like, especially you're one of the younger ones that we've had.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But yeah, you definitely got all that solid info. What's the demographics like where you're at, bro? Like in Michigan.
Michigan. So I live in a university town. So whatever like students who did well in school, like in my friend group, I think I only hang out with like the Chinese international students. So even when I was at my worst academically, I was still ahead because they would keep pushing me. Because you know how Asian people are and their parents. So like
yeah.
they have high standards. So I mean,
Yeah, very strict.
I wanted to drop out even though I was in like AP calculus and like computer science. I
Damn.
didn't really, I don't know. I mean, I didn't really get any
yeah,
connection
that's
to
really
it,
good, bro. Fuck.
and I just
See,
wanted to fucking leave that school. And I wanted to like live out in the woods for a while. And I was like, fuck.
yeah, that'd be hella nice, bro.
That'd be nice.
Go to the woods for a whole month, bro.
Go back
just camp
to,
out your natural habitat.
You probably have you ever been outside of the country, or have you been outside of
Oh yeah, I
Michigan?
go out. I will literally walk out there, bro. I walked like hours, bro.
Oh
I
yeah.
think like 12-hour walk. I'll go. I'll do a little
Goddamn.
prayer. I'm not Christian at all. I just do like a little prayer and whatnot.
You know, that's another topic that we got to talk about with. I
Wherever
noticed
the Great Spirit Gichimanodu, I think it's called Anishinabamon. Or that's what they call it.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
a
the
great.
Great
It's called the
Spirit.
Great Spirit.
It's like
And
the English translation.
that's interesting. In what language?
Anishinabemon.
Anishinaabe. And that is from
Ojibwe. That's
Ojibwe.
Ojibwe.
Ojibwe. All right.
Potawatomi.
Damn. And that's pretty sick.
Damn,
I gotta brush up more on my my
On
info
all-
on that shit, bro.
Yeah, man.
Because we've been we you know how we talk about every goddamn topic ever, and
bro.
but it's cool bringing people on like you that you have that specific like the
Yeah, I
niche
mean,
level.
I know more about like the res people life, like the northern tribes, more than I do like Mesoamerica. Even though I'm Mayan, I should know more about that stuff. But I just like what I'm like have around me.
Yeah, what you
You
have
know?
around you, and that's I learned random like tidbits of information. I know that on that side of the country, they're a little bit taller for some reason, like the natives there.
Me personally, I think it's because they just eat more meat.
That's what I was
But
thinking. Like
Mm,
they had a better diet, I guess, at the time.
yeah, because like you got to realize not too long ago, man, like the average 12-year-old, like depending on the different tribes, like for instance, if you read about the Crow, you know what the average like 10-year-old had on his like like mind was like they had on their like a body count is they had killed a buffalo on horseback, pray before they skin it and eat it. They'd eat that intestines raw. They eat the liver raw.
Oh,
They
that's
cure it
wild.
too. Dude, that's like the average like 12-year-old on the plains, man. Like
damn.
they make us look like a fucking joke. That's just the
Yeah,
12-year-old.
exactly.
That's crazy.
What's a good book that you've read that you'd want to recommend to people about like that kind of life and the native life, the history, or some kind of video, something that you point people to?
Mm. Oh man, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with native knowledge. Books, they don't do books. I'm gonna
They
be
don't do books
honest.
well.
But you know how they are. It's like all those elders, they face to face, oral knowledge, they want you to speak. They're like really keen on like they're really shrewd and stuff on privacy. I don't know if you noticed. That's why like you
Mm.
don't get as much of them coming on your podcast. I don't know how to describe.
Mm,
No, only tap into people who come across with my algorithm, and then people that like you that reach out. But yeah, I've never really. I don't even have anybody on my radar to be honest with you.
yeah,
But like I said, it's a new fucking rabbit hole to go down, and
for
Mm.
sure.
yeah, you're opening up a lot of different doors. But I know that yeah, because I've looked into some books, and the books I feel like it's always I just don't trust a lot of these academic
It's from
people
the white
here.
man's perspective.
Yeah,
You're
that's
not
what I'm
gonna
saying.
get the
Yeah, I just don't
accurate.
trust a lot of because I know there's a famous book that I read, but it's because back in the day Joe Rogan fucking
Yeah.
like talked about this book. It was Empire of the Summer Moon or some shit like that.
Mhm.
Empire of
Yeah.
the
Oh,
Moon.
Quanah Park. Oh, okay, yeah,
Connor Parker. Yeah, yeah.
Comanches.
But that book, I read it, and it's like it made them sound cool, but it also made them look like savages.
Yeah.
It's also kind of biased. So, but it was a cool book too.
Mm,
Did you read that one or no?
Yeah, I read it all.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. That's
That was
pretty
like one of
interesting
the
shit.
first few books I read. I found out later apparently there was like some inaccuracies. Like some of the escapees would try to make the Comanche do things they never did, like torture.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
never did
mm,
that. Like,
I
you know,
like the history.
The Haudenosaunee Confederacy, Mohawk, Onondaga, the Cayuga, all that
Mm,
Seneca. Have you known that none of the soldiers and all the accounts ever raped a prisoner ever? Never,
yep.
mm,
ever,
damn.
to give you a perspective. And that
That's
kind of broke the idea of like when I was a young teen, I was big into the philosopher, like you know, Sade,
to say no. You
the
is it?
origin of BDSM, like sadism.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Mm,
I think I've come across it.
I used to think in like the mentality that the world is a dog eat dog world, that people are somehow naturally gonna want to do something bad to you. That was like the
Yeah,
mentality I got into with the black pill stuff because it kind of just teaches you to see the worst and everything. And a lot of it, people say that, oh, you're coping, you're being a humanitarian, or that you're just being a cuck. That's a word see people use a lot that I don't think they
cooks.
understand. And so to me, that kind of just broke it because, like, if somehow that the human nature is supposed to be so sadistic and evil, then how come we never like in our languages we didn't have any words for such things we never seen before until the Europeans came or the
Mm,
Christianity. And so that kind of just
mm,
made me like, do we really have to be as fucking evil? I mean, I don't know.
yeah, I think there's a interesting book that I read that I don't think it's about explicitly natives, but
mm,
it's a short
It don't
story.
gotta be. You can go into some of like the Hinduism stuff you're into, like
Oh
the
yeah, I'm definitely into that. But
mm,
that's just more of a spiritual stuff that I got into naturally. But there's another book by Dostoevsky which was
yeah.
it's a short story that's called it's a dream of a ridiculous man.
mhm,
Mm.
It's actually kind of like seems like a sad book. It but I liked it because
Is it like a little bit surreal? It sounds like a surreal book,
it's
like
surreal. Yeah.
absurdism.
It's like really surreal. It's like, and for the time period, I feel like it was ahead of the time because in the dream he was astral projecting. he was astral
Hmm.
traveling in the dream. But I guess it's about
That
the
sounds like some of the stuff that Jung was into. He was into like the big on the dreaming.
yeah, yeah, and I think that
Mm.
I really enjoy like that kind of stuff. But this book is interesting because it ties into these aspects of purity and like being what is it called, being tainted. And he
Hmm.
dreams these pure people who I would imagine they're native people. He goes to a native
Yeah.
land, they don't know how to lie, they don't know about stealing, and he kind of corrupts them. And it's just a really interesting story, so you guys could check it out. It's called Dream of a Ridiculous Man. You can find it as an audiobook, you can find it for free. It's like an hour long read, but it's all over the internet, YouTube, whatever. But that's a really chill one.
Are there any good like documentaries that like for Native
Native
Americans or
native documentaries.
that'd be pretty sick to see one of them, bro.
Yeah, to
Um,
get more
All I'm
into that
gonna
shit.
say
Yeah.
is like just look into names, like look up the Dakota Wars, like anything that refers to Sitting Bull, Spotted Tail, you know, all of them. Actually, what happened to Spotted Tail was really sad. Because initially a lot of the tribalism, I'm gonna go back to tribalism, is they had specific rights and passages and who could be in the council. I don't want to speak on this too much because it's not my people and I don't want to misrepresent. That's why I wanted to get that Lakota guy in here because he knows a lot about that shit.
Mm, mm.
But they had any issues adapting with the times because when Spotted Tail was a kid, he's seen all these white settlers moving in, and initially what he was thinking is like, "Hey man, these people they're not the same as like the traders with the French and Spanish where they want to settle and they have ideas of like property, math, whatnot that we don't know about." And initially, you know what the elders was like? They disregarded him as like crazy, even though like he turned about really right all along.
Mm.
And he had to prove himself constantly over and over again. And he was one of those Indians who was thinking outside the box. He'd like listen to the white man speak when out by the tree and whatnot, even when other Indians are like they do tribal warfare, traditionalism stuff, which is respectful, it's healthy, but at the same time self-destructive because if tribal ways were really as effective, we wouldn't be in this situation. That's the honest truth.
That's
I
true, huh? Yeah. And that happened to everybody. That happened to the all the way down to the Incas. They all got betrayed. They all got lied to. They all got infighting. They all got manipulated. And
yeah.
it's not just in the U.S. in the region of the U.S. It's all
So
throughout the
yeah, with
Americas.
the Mapuche Inca, the Inca Empire, Mapuche.
All the same things happened. They got betrayed exactly the same ways. They got lied to. The English, the French, the Spanish,
all of them,
they
bro.
all just lied and broke treaties and then made them fight each other. And then the
Hmm.
small group of people who were just manipulative and cunning and clever had these large masses of people killing each other and hating each other and hating themselves. It was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? What's the sleight of hand here? When did this go wrong? And it is because there is a magic trick, and I think that's what we try to talk about on the podcast. Maybe we're not the most knowledgeable about the tribal specifics, but in a general sense, where we attack it from, I do think every red person, every brown person, every Mexican, whatever, every Latin American person and the continents, they all have this aspect that they are being lied to. There's a sleight of hand, there's a trick being played on everybody, you know? And I think
Hmm.
that the best we can do is expose it through like knowledge.
Exactly.
And it has to do with the stuff we talk about. We bring up the same thing, like the secret societies, these elite or so-called elites, which I don't think they're elites. They're probably more so degenerates, you know? And I would say it's like, um,
Seven royal families
yeah,
or
all
people
this
that
kind of
control
shit.
this all the whole world
Because the
basically, bro.
more you uncover that, I think the closer you get to seeing behind the magic trick, the magic show, and the more people will actually wake up to see that the truth of it all. And
Yeah.
that's kind of our message too.
For sure.
But that's why I kind of wanted to bring you on here, because you have that message, which is there's this unification aspect, whereas like tribalism is like hyper
Yeah, it's like with the
tribalism is a
Freemasons,
problem.
like if you check the Constitution of the United States compared to Britain, we're technically under I think a British colony still. We're like a crown estate, I think, but we're not actually independent if the United States isn't.
That's wild.
Mm,
We're
That's
not
wild.
actually. I think it's
Yeah.
like there's some legal manipulation did with like Old English law, I'm pretty sure. And a lot of like the independence people were Freemasons. A lot of
Yep.
the I wouldn't be surprised if some of those words were like a little staged a bit, you know?
And
That's what I want to get into.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it might be that history might be a lie with the Paul Revere and with the Tea Party. I think this is all like lies and embellished. And I also do think, I don't know, this is something that I had in my mind. I haven't looked into it, but I do think that those 5 civilized whatever tribes, maybe it's like,
there's Freemason involvement too. There's Freemason.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The reason why they have that special legal status is because I'm sure some of them converted to Masonry.
Bingo. You didn't even need to read the history.
I'm telling you that this goes back to every minority group. Every minority group that wants to be infiltrated and wants to infiltrate this system and have power in some way, they still need to serve the top elite. And they are still like slaves, but they just aren't fancy slaves, right? Mm-hmm. So there's something called the boule, where they do the exact same thing. A lot of the rappers, LeBron James, they're all this Masonic fraternity or adjacent to the Masons. And
I'm gonna say something wild. Can I say something wild on here?
Go ahead.
Of course.
I think Michelle Obama is Michael Obama. That's a man. That's what I'm gonna say. Big Mike. That's Big Mike, bro.
That's what's his name said on the UFC thing, huh? Some guy, he yelled it at UFC. The black guy, he yelled it at UFC.
That's Big Mike.
Oh yeah.
He's like, Michelle Obama's this and that. I don't know too much about all that, but I wouldn't go put it past him, because I know they say Macron's wife, and I think that's might be why they killed Charlie Kirk, because that was about to be uncovered, that Macron's wife is like a pederast. I think she groomed him. She's like really older than him. Fuck. And I think she might be a man.
That's just crazy as hell.
And then once that story started to get heated up, I think they did a bigger event as a cover up too, and that was when Kirk got basically shot, taken out,
assassinated,
because that was about to be uncovered, and that uncovers a whole lineage of the crazy shit they do, the incest and all that kind of stuff. But that, I think that is another interesting rabbit hole. But I do think it all leads back to the same shit, like the small group of people manipulating the masses, right?
Yeah, but that's interesting as hell. But when that happened too, bro, it's like we found the people did their own investigation like online, and they started seeing like what Erica Kirk was a CIA agent, bro, and shit like that. She's like a plant, bro, and people were doing like the people were the FBI full, like they're the ones that were trying to figure out what the fuck they're putting the puzzle together. So I was like, man,
that's a fact.
People united in that way, I guess, for them. But yeah, you can't be fooling people like that anymore, bro.
So yeah,
I'm gonna say is like a lot of these white Americans, man, they're just pure goyim. I don't pure
goyim. So on
you
the internet,
you want to know another Hebrew word you call like old fat lady, or it's called cow. A female cow's pada, something like that.
No, yeah, I never heard that one.
Yeah.
What about a schmuck? They have schmuck. What did they have? They have another one.
They have another last name. It's the last name Shlomo.
Oh, that's another. I've heard that one. That Shlomo. Yeah. Schmuck is like an idiot or a dummy, right?
Yeah.
You're a schmuck.
Yeah.
That's just another funny one. They have a shitload because they all put them in the media.
You guys better watch out though, man, because those Orthodox Jews, they're having lots of kids over there. They're moving over. You haven't seen that in New York?
In New York, I've seen them in New York, and I think
they're building entire settlements, man. They got influence in the local politics. Like the juries are all Orthodox Jews. The rabbis.
Who made the video? What is it? The video Tommy G? Was it Tommy G?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they went to that town, and they had that people like showing up in the camera because he had that other Jewish guy. I think he left. I don't know if Jews leave, but they started calling him names like you can't record that. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, they're pretty smart, and they're really effective in what they do.
They don't. None of the kids. Also, none of them use phones. None of them use technology. That's why I think, to a degree, I don't think technology is as needed if you have because they have limited technology. I think they use it, but not as much as we do.
What do you think about the Amish? The Amish might be ahead of their time, bro, because they're just like,
I don't know, technology, man. They're a bunch of settlers to me. They're settlers.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, but maybe in the way that they're like, the technology's the devil.
No,
that might
bro.
be
They team up with the Jews, bro. You didn't see that in Central America. They had like a sex ring called. Fuck them.
For real? Oh, shit.
God,
Maybe fuck that. Fuck that. No, but what I'm saying is more so just that they themselves know how bad this shit is. You know, like the Jew, there's the Orthodox Jews that they don't even they go on a plane and they cover up the TVs, so
Yeah, I mean,
they
like
know
if
it's
you go on
programming.
like Israeli TV, even though they say a bunch of bullshit, there's a lot of truth when they do say it. It's like from your own worst enemy, even though they're gonna say a bunch of bullshit, when they're honest, it's
Yeah.
like it cuts
Mm,
hard.
damn.
What do you think they've been before we end it off, because we have about an hour?
Yeah, yeah, 55
Yeah, if
minutes.
you have anything that you want to say, but before we end it off, I was gonna ask, like, what do you think is your take on, like, let's say, media and the indigenous native people in America and across the both continents? Like, do you think there's been an effort to sort of erase, or is it intentional? Because I feel
It
like it
depends.
is.
What do you mean by like a race? I want to know what you mean.
Um, Basically, for example, like, I brought this up. I've already brought this up like a few times in the last few podcasts, but it was the famous. There's a famous clip of Marlon Brando on a late night show, and he's like, I
Yeah.
already had a whole script for the native to make like a whole like native genocide movie about how they got wiped out of these continents. And I brought it, and I was ready to shoot it, and they would say, "No, we're not gonna make a fucking Indian film, or we're not gonna make." And I think there's this aspect that it's almost like they want to prevent any sort of historical awakening of people with
No,
any
no.
native
You know what they
ancestry.
do too is like whenever I do see like a Native American movie, it's like some fucking Western fantasy bullshit. I know you
Yeah,
notice
yeah,
that. I
yeah,
know
yeah,
it's Russell Means' son, Tatanka. He does like that bullshit. It's like, come on, bro. You're why are you doing this bullshit romanticism? It's like
yeah, yeah.
I know
In
you
your
seen that
mind,
movies he does. You see that movies he does. It's like some like fucking Wattpad tier of script
eh,
writing. Like the fuck is this?
yeah, I get you, I get you. Now, but I do think that that's history shit is interesting, because the more people wake up to seeing what all this like the stuff you're talking about, the stuff we try to share, I think it does create a little bit of a wave of people who will give friction, and I think they don't want that. They don't want that friction. I was listening to a book yesterday, and it was a book called Bad Mexicans.
Yeah.
And this book, there's a quote from 1903 of the U.S. Secretary of Labor, 1903, 1908, something like that. And
Hmm.
and he was literally, even at that time, he's like, the Mexican worker is basically, he said, is a good donkey, is a good slave. He will never,
Yeah.
if he's led right, then he will be a good fucking he would be kind of smart, but he has to have good leadership. But other than that, he's not never gonna he's not ambitious. He's never gonna make anything of himself. He's gonna work for a low wage. And they have thought this for the past more than 100 years, bro. And this was in 1903. So this is
God,
their mindset. This is not just
yeah.
back in the day. They still think this in media, and that's why that we have these narratives. And they still think. Look at Jimmy Kimmel, bro. He has the Mexican guy as
Yeah.
like a as a puppet, like a mascot. Like, and this is a grown man trying to feed his family, and they just have him as a pet. I think there's something
Fuck.
wrong there. I don't know. For me, don't you think it's kind of weird?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a little weird to
I
me.
mean,
Yeah,
you want me to be honest with you? You
yeah.
might guys might not like it. I think if Mexicans want to be free, they're gonna have to stop being Mexican.
That's the that no well, that's the topic we've been hearing a lot of. The guy yesterday, Dominic, he's been saying there's this whole thing when it pops up in all these conversations about identity all the time, and
Yeah, yeah.
nationality identity. And I am not obsessed with identity or nationality. Like,
No,
for
they're
me,
bullshit.
I don't
Like
really
the
care
what we
about all
see in
that.
news is bullshit. Is this bullshit?
Yeah, I don't
Is
really
this?
care about all that, because I think my ultimate message that I like to share is also a spiritual message. And the more you
Mm,
get into the spiritual stuff, the more you try to get away from identity and nationality, and it's more just about your own inside yourself,
Spiritual self.
spiritual
Yeah,
self,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then that gets you more in tune with
mm.
nature, and the and that's more true for me. That brings more true than
I'm
all
gonna
these
say
identities.
on my perspective, I disagree a little bit with that because first of all, I think we have to take with the issue of self-defense and what we have going on is we're not gonna have any of these natural spots to meditate to pray to back to the ancestors or
If
sacred
they take
sites.
them, yeah.
And so I think that I mean, I don't want to sound fucked up, but with all the protests we're doing, what's stopping them from just dropping a nuke? I mean, or femboy in a B-12 bomber. I heard someone say it's like you're gonna stop that. And I appreciate a lot of the protests do. They bring awareness, but that's just one side. We need something because Indians back in the day they didn't use bow and arrows. They used muskets, guns, things to fight back.
Mm.
They
Yeah.
use the technology at their hand. I don't see why we. That's why I'm gonna say something really wild. And since we're on a sinking ship, there's no point in not using AI. If anything, it just regresses us. I don't like it. I mean, I do most of my thinking here in the head, but if you want to get ahead, you're gonna
You have
have
to
to
use
use
the
it.
tools at hand. And that's what we said actually even in the interview. He asked what do you guys think about AI? And I said, well, it's a tool, and if you're not going to, if not, you're not going to use it. You're just handicapping yourself in this world,
Yeah,
and everything we do, there's something bad about it. Everything, we can't live a perfectly saintly life. I mean, your phone in your pocket probably has some slave work in there, your shoes, your clothes, like we're fucked somehow, like we're
Yeah.
fucked up somehow. So might as well be practical and try to your best. And, but I agree with what you said, and that's another thing with the spiritual thing is like you can do both. Like you could be aware of the spiritual reality, and you can be aware of the physical, practical reality, and actually take action on things, and do both, right? And I think that's kind of what we're doing here is bring awareness to both of those things because to spread that unifying message. Also, I think it's a net positive for
yeah.
these messages. It's a net positive,
Mhm.
and so that I think that we're doing a little bit of both too.
Yeah, for sure.
But is there anything else you want to leave off on before we go?
Um, shit. I'm thinking. Well, what was the last you want me to talk about that like you're most curious about?
Oh, you know what too? What do you because I like asking people that know about like the native stuff, bro. Like what do you think is the biggest genocide in history, bro?
Probably here. It has to be here, man. There's like,
Mm,
because we have all these other nations, man. We have a little China. We have a little fucking Mumbai. We have a little all this on this continent, but there's no little Navajo Pueblo. There's no little fucking on any other continent. It's like everyone else is like, we gotta have with their issues they bring over. It's like, come on, man. We're the only people who have this continent. Because like you have Europeans coming over, Africans, Asians. It's like, come on, what the fuck? This is
yeah,
That's crazy. And
yeah.
yeah, it might be true. It might be true. I think it definitely there was a shitload of people out here and both these continents, and a lot of them got wiped out.
oh,
I don't think
okay. I
anybody
know.
will ever know.
I know where I want to leave off. One last thing is that I think there needs to be an authentic youth movement that's not full of posing for the camera on a protest. I think if it is going to happen, it's not going to be digitized or online, whatever. It needs to be in real life, in person, with commitment and actual action. What I mean by this is a lot of youth are scared of getting their hands dirty a little bit, you know. And
Mm,
many men aren't actually warriors. Okay, so the issue I have is you see a lot of natives online use that little feather
Yeah.
emoji. I wouldn't
mhm.
use that because back in the day, that meant you scalped someone, you killed someone. That means you're a man of action and commitment. And a lot of these people think that they're warriors just because they're born native or because of this or that or because of this tribe. It's like this is what I mentioned about that 12-year-old little those boys on the plains. They would like hunt, pray, skin the animal for their like elders to bring home. We don't have any of that. It's like this Goy culture, this enslavement,
This
nothing
Goy
in
culture,
reality.
the Goy culture.
Yeah, the
That's
Gwen.
why
Yeah,
that's why
you're right.
Godis appeals to a lot of young men so much because he says a lot of the things we want to do is and there hasn't been a war in a while for an actual commitment. What I mean by this is like I think young men do have a drive and it's who's that Japanese philosopher? Mishima? He you know who
Oh
I'm
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
The
The
actor.
Book of Five Rings. Or you talking about the
Yeah.
actor or the book?
He wrote the book, he's an
Yeah,
actor.
yeah, I think it's the Book of Five Rings, right?
I think there's like gonna be a movement and I've always said this since I was a little kid. Do you think that I want to ask you and Martin Eddy, do you think that there's going to be a really bloody and gruesome war? Do you think it might be the end of all times, or do you think it's just going to be another revolution that occurs and flops?
Mm.
Shit. Well, you want to go first?
Yeah, that's a hard one, man. Damn, that's crazy. I mean, I think it'll probably be more like a spiritual war nowadays, fool, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody's just doing the Masonic shit, and you just see But I think there's something boiling up. Like we were talking about, uh, like a couple of days ago with the homie over here, that there's something boiling up in the air, and I think people
Yeah.
are just starting to wake up, and those guys, the people that control this whole fucking world, bro. I think they're smart enough to not rock the boat too much, because if we all definitely unite, it's game over for them, bro. They
Yeah.
lost, but I think there's just gonna, they're gonna keep playing with it until, someone gets fed up with this shit, bro, and then we just start. Yeah,
They're building bunkers, so they're preparing for something.
yeah,
I think my answer is two ways. It's also like you have to be prepared and practical, but
Yeah.
you also have to try to create the best outcome too, because it's like what they say: you create the future today, right now, right? Like what you do right now creates it. So,
Yeah.
but you also can't be naive to like if things are brewing. So you have to kind of be able to dance with both of those ideas and like still try to create the best outcome and still not be naive to the realities around you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to move,
for sure, yeah,
and because that makes sense to me, because you don't want to be defeatist too, because then you're just gonna manifest it to happen too. And but there
damn,
are a
Because
lot of people predicting shit like that.
that's what happened with the War of 1812 with Tecumseh and Tenskwatawa. There was both a practical leader, Tecumseh, and the spiritual leader, Tenskwatawa.
Yep.
Although I think Tenskwatawa a little butchered a little bit because he grew up, he wasn't athletic as a kid historically. And so when he went to war without his younger brother, no, his older brother, yeah, he fucked at Battle of Tippecanoe. That's
So
mm,
what do you
but
think is
how he actually started what drew the movement because he attracted a lot of young men who wanted spiritual commitment and enlightenment and like something that's because for me, I've never had any like formal instruction on mysticism, on any of the like the esoteric concepts and whatnot. The only thing I read is Manly P. Hall.
yeah, that's it.
That's about
Yeah,
it. And
that's
so
pretty much it.
whenever I like experience stuff, I would experience it through my life. I never needed instruction, which I thought was like maybe I'm missing that, because what I would do as a kid is just close my eyes and like imagine shit that I would see or whatnot. I'd see like little clumps.
Yeah.
If you ever did that as a little kid, and what that would make me do is like I'd make my own little prayers. What I would do is
Hmm.
I'd lock. It's gonna sound weird. What I'd do is I'd clear out my closet and it would just be all black. And I would just pray there. And like I would like experience like really scary shit because when you're dark, your mind see this is not I'm not making any of this up. Anyone watching this podcast, go out into the dark. You want to notice something that all people are afraid of? Have you noticed a suburb? There's no lights off. Never. There's never actually pure darkness. Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, that's true.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, you got a good
mm-hmm.
point.
No actually ever pure darkness. And I think that's something that people are missing because I noticed like a lot of like the spiritual stuff I see on like the Masons, whatnot, is about like seeing the light, or you hear what's that thing called? It's like people see the light.
See the
Uh,
light in what
That's
way?
like what, when you're about to die, or
You're
like I
talking about
see,
death or
you
just
know the
like
movie
being
Donnie
enlightened?
Darko? At the end of Donnie Darko, when he has that
basically,
dream and
like what, there's like the end of the tunnel,
What are you talking
basically
about? Like
type shit.
dying?
yeah, Donnie Dark. If you've seen like the end of Donnie Darko, when he
I
goes to the
forget.
end of the tunnel, because
Yeah.
Frank, the little bunny rabbit, he tells him is like, what you want is like some form of like to go through the portal, whatnot, and
Mm,
it's just light, I think, and I get kind of confused.
Yeah,
mm.
I mean that with the death stuff, it's kind of hard to say because you could read a lot of shit, but you have to more so experience
Experience that.
like
Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's kind of hard to speak on that kind of stuff. I would say um the meditation aspect, it gets you closer to these experiences, and then you kind of just have an intuitive feeling about it, and
yeah,
then you could find that these little bits and pieces. Like I know there's books that talk about death. There's the Tibetan Book of the Dead. There's the
yeah.
death book
Yeah.
by Sadhguru. He has a death book. It goes all into like
Is
all
it
this kind of
as
stuff.
accurate as like the Pali original like writing? I know it's written in Pali, like the original language. Is it as like
uh
as accurate or
the
like
Tibetan book.
Yeah, I know it's like written poly or something. It's like,
I couldn't say that I'm sure or not, but I do know that I uh I dabbled into listen to it a bit, and it I mean, it is a whole nother world when they talk about the afterlife and all that kind
yeah.
of shit, and it does get confusing. So I would say it's more so that's more like a
I
personal
think that's something
undertaking.
that I had to reconcile with, and I think a lot of young men have to deal with is like the feminine aspect of like nature. Because I noticed you and Eddie mentioned whatnot about like I noticed a lot of men they like want to throw it out because I remember it was like an older interview. People would say like, "Oh, that's just cope. There's only two things like the masculine and feminine duality." Because we see like in Greco-Roman culture, we just have like these two concepts of where the dominus and servus, and that we're supposed to be penetrating our women, which I never like as a kid, I never
Ah,
like had any thoughts of that. I thought,
uh,
why can't it just be reciprocal or not? Like, as in, what is your thoughts on it?
So you
Because
mean like if like why do you have to do an external like chase the woman externally, or what do you mean? Like
what I mean is like I constantly like push down under like your woman or because I notice like that's the issue I don't like with like modern Hispanic cultures, machismo or machismo,
mm,
whatever. You
like
see it
put the
too.
women down? Put
Yeah.
women down? Oh, okay,
What's your
okay.
guys' thoughts
I
on it?
get you.
mm,
I think that's a immaturity aspect too. I think I was there too, being in a long relationship. Like around your age, I think I got into a long-term relationship, and it was around 7 years, 8 years. And when I was your age, I think I was pretty imbalanced.
yeah.
I was pretty imbalanced. Like I was more of a knucklehead. Like I,
Basically, it's like your parents, bro. Like how they treated their their wives and stuff like that. Their wives,
yeah,
their wife.
they're wives. No, no.
Their
For me,
yeah.
I wasn't like that. No,
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
tried to be like my dad, but we're different and we're similar in different ways. But I'm different in in the way that when I was his age, or even now, like I always had trouble expressing my emotions.
Mm.
So like I feel them, but I don't know how to. I didn't never know how to express them. Like
Mm.
even
Mm.
being I like
Like
almost
communicative, open.
yeah, like I can't react. Like I couldn't react to my emotions. Like it's like putting your hand on the stove and not moving it. That's
Mm.
how you know what I mean. That's how I felt. Like I couldn't perceive. I could feel that it was hot, but I couldn't. I like it's like almost like non-reactive. So that's how I felt inside. So that kind of created like a personality of like coldness to me. Like
Mhm.
I was still like
Yeah.
myself, like I like to joke around a lot, but I never really took it seriously. I never took anything seriously or
Mm.
emotions.
Yeah.
And so that made me kind of like a bit of a dick. And so when I was with my girlfriend at the time, I was kind of I didn't know how to balance the feminine aspect, and we kind of taught each other. So she really taught me. She softened me up a lot.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so that's what a lot of young men, I think your question is, that's what a lot of young men need is they need a woman to soften them and to make them a little wiser.
Mhm.
And then in order for that to happen, you kind of have to open yourself up to a woman and be vulnerable, because that pain will also soften you up and also transform you.
Mm.
And it hurts, you know, it's maybe it's not pleasant, but it does grow you. And then there's this other aspect to it too. It's like when if that falls apart, that even that breaking up, it does grow you, and it does and I do think that the more a guy is stubborn, the more a guy rejects that being vulnerable, or that feminine side, I guess you could call it, the worse the worse that breakup will be, and the worse it'll hurt.
Mm.
Because it's almost like the universe has like a recipe for every guy. It's like, this is how much I need to break you. Like this is as hard as I need to hit this guy. Boom. Some guys just get it. Some guys are like chill, or they're already balanced.
Yeah.
Other guys, they need a goddamn hammer to smack them. Boom.
Yeah,
Mm.
And
exactly.
break them apart, literally, almost. You know.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you see some guys on the brink of emotional breakdown, and it's like you realize
Yeah.
it's just the universe teaching him in the way that he needs to listen, because some people are so hard-headed that
Stubborn and
they
shit.
need to be broken apart. And some people, they go through their whole life and they never get that. And that's actually a curse, bro. That's actually, I would say that's a bigger curse.
Mm.
It's more of a blessing to get it early, or at
Yeah.
any point in time. But if you never get that, even even if you give yourself that, like just having that awareness to yourself, that's good enough. But some people are just so stubborn. So I think that that's maybe that's what you're saying. It's like you do need to balance that energy within yourself, and you have the capacity to do it by yourself. I'm just speaking on women because that's what most guys, that's where they learn their lessons. But you can learn this just by understanding that you have those two energies inside you, and not running away from them, and understanding that how to balance those two things. And that goes into the esoteric, the spiritual, the meditation. It's balancing the sun and the moon, these energies inside you.
My mom used to say that to me when I went to bed. It's like she'd say to me, "I love you like the sun," because to her, I guess like I have a question to you, like you and Martin and whatnot. Do you think like the sun and moon? Do you think a sun is the man, or do you think it's a woman? Because I know in like Lakota culture, they say like we is a man, like we chasha. That means like a man.
Wichasha means man. I think the sun has always been masculine.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
sun has always been masculine. The moon has always been feminine. And I think that even ties into women's bodies, because what is it called? The the period cycle of women is tied to the moon cycles. So every 28 days they have their period. It's tied to the moon, and if the moon wasn't aligned with them, then and even their emotions, right? The moon is like tied to the emotions. Like a full moon is today and yesterday, I think.
I think there was like a red moon last night. There was a red moon.
I think I think so. Yeah. Crazy. It's pretty wild right now, but that's just a heightened state of emotions for everybody. But women even feel even more, and they're even more connected to it. But everybody has a capacity to work on those things, and the more I look into the shit, the more it makes sense, and the more you realize, like whether it's Hindu, whether it's from Tibet, whether it's from the Middle East, Africa, any native tribe, they all are saying the same things in their own way. So all these truths, the truth is the truth. People get to it how they get to it, but once you start seeing the patterns, it's all the same shit, bro.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, bro. Yeah, I think it's like the sun is masculine. You know, you give that. There's a force. There's like a sense of power. Obviously in the moon too, but like the sun, it's like stronger, and
it has that solar force.
Yeah,
that's why they say the men is like the solar energy, and you have to balance that within you.
Balance everything out. Yeah,
it's like in the East, they say your solar plexus. That's where you have your energy, which is like your abs area. That's where you have that drive. And then
for sure,
the moon has a different aspect, but that's why it always pops up in all these symbols from around the world. But
yeah, man, we're gonna close it down. But what's your thank you for having for coming on the show and on the podcast, bro. And shout out your Instagram if you want to, bro.
Yeah.
I think I just linked it there. It's like Imockthepilgrims, some bullshit.
Imockthepilgrims. I like that.
All right.
And it's Issa. Are you gonna start your blog, your thing? If you ever do, or if you ever need any help, just reach out to us, bro. We'll tap in with you. We got you, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, I got you. You guys need to reach out to some like real American Indians, though. I want to see that, like someone on the res. I want to see that. You got to promise me that, like.
We got to brush up on this shit, because we're coming from like a million different angles. But
but for sure we'll see.
We'll definitely have to tap into these.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be someone that that wants
reach out. If anybody's listening to it, reach out, bro. And actually, I have had real indigenous native tribe people hit me up, and they say like, "Oh, I love what you're doing," and I never really paid too much attention. I'm just like, "Oh, thank you so much." But yeah, I'll have to look through my DMs, and maybe I'll reach out to one of these guys.
You gotta hit them up, bro. Like the stuff they say online, they won't find it ever online. I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of the stuff.
Okay,
damn, for sure, man. But
I'll have to do that.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you guys for listening and watching this podcast.
I wanted to say something a little bit. I wanted to say like, just to let you guys know, for any youthful person, don't spend too much time on the screen. One thing I wish I never did as a kid was like, I've been on the phone since, so it fucked up my eyes. Like one thing I would trade in the world is like perfect eyesight, because I have like blurry. So
damn. Yeah, exactly.
That's something people take for granted. Sad.
For sure, bro. Yeah, and I think it's like the iPad baby era.
The iPad kid.
You guys, the iPad kids that always on the social media, and
yeah, they're gonna fuck vision. They're gonna fuck eyesight. I guarantee that.
For sure, man. Yeah. Have a good night, bro, or a good day.
Also, one last thing for your hair. Try to get your hands on like some like animal fat and use like sage oil because my
Oh.
friend made me some. It's for your hair. I'm trying to grow it out, but
Oh man,
this is the line.
mine is really really long, man. Mine is down to past my ass, bro. My
So is
hair's down
Martin,
to
bro. Martin needs to
Yeah.
grow it out. Does he have like curly hair?
Yeah, I got curly hair, bro. Yeah.
My hair.
Shit.
Yeah. You know what? What'll help you grow it out? If you I don't know if you like it, but you should try out going for a jog for like 30 minutes in the sun, bro. That blood flow
Really?
that gets to your hair follicles. Ever since I started running, I go to a park and run in the sunlight. My hair started growing like crazy, and then taking vitamin D capsules. Uh, your hair's not gonna stop growing, bro.
I know like the raw milk shit, you can get a lot of vitamin D, I heard. Like the raw
Maybe
milk.
so, maybe so. But I did my blood work years ago. Years ago, I said I had low vitamin D, but I fixed that, and then now I'll tell you, go for a jog. I'll tell you at least 30 minutes, if not more. Do whatever pace you can manage, but try to work your way up to 30 minutes and go past that if you can. But
Do you guys go on like
for-
a cold plunge in like a river? I know like some people do that. They go on like a cold plunge after a run. They like
yeah,
do
Yeah, basically
now
like
and then.
once like the beach.
We're at the
once
beach
at the
every
beach,
now
you
and
just
then.
go in there,
We'll
boom.
go in there.
But
Just
yeah,
jump in there, man. But hey, your hair's pretty long too.
It's not I plan to get it like down
It
to
looks
my
good,
waist.
bro. That looks good, bro.
It actually is a little bit of a hassle, but that's why I always have mine tied up. But I've been growing out for a while now, and that's the best advice I can give you. When I started running, that shit just started shooting out of your damn head, bro.
Yeah. But for sure, man.
All right.
All right, bro.
All right, bro. Have a good
Peace
one.
out.
Peace out, man.
Nice talking.
Braids over phase, I'm gonna say. Braids
Yeah,
over
there you go.
phase.
There you go.
For sure, bro. Peace. Foo-ology podcast, support independent media. Link is in the bio. Here it is. Foo-ology podcast. Peace.